Lauren Chen is clearly not a fan of pornography, generally speaking. In fact, she's even gone as far as to make this tweet that says porn stars aren't conservative. She's talked about how porn is degenerate and disgusting, and criticizing this TPUSA for having a girl there who's a porn star and used her porn name and all this bullshit. So yeah, Lauren Chen, when it is convenient for her, despises porn. But Lauren Chen, when it's convenient for her, also is okay with porn. You see, if it allows her to hate on the gays, then she might have a little bit of a different vibe. So let's go ahead and take a look at this.
Hey, Lauren.
Such a grating voice. Okay. Playboy's male playmate? Oh no. So something you already hate, porn, is doing something else that you also hate, and you're mad about that? Okay.
Hey, Lauren here. Let's talk about Playboy. And in case you were wondering / hoping that this would be a sexy type of video, it's not actually the opposite. If I would have to say, the images you're about to see.
Thank God, dude. Holy shit. Thank God. Could you imagine? Ugh. Keep that on your OnlyFans, okay? Jeez.
So your discretion is advised. Now, I'm guessing that we're all familiar with what Playboy is. It's this pornographic model that started off, pretty early in the 60s or 70s, maybe even 50s, actually. And they had centerfolds of busty young women, and it was the type of magazine that, like, teenage boys would hide under their beds and stuff like that. But I think they lost a lot of popularity when the internet came around because, if you want to look at porn, just simple fact of the matter is it's easier to get it online. And also they have video online, which Playboy can't really do. So yeah, things were not going great for Playboy in the digital age. And I think to just make matters worse, they also not too long ago announced that they would not be doing fully nude pictorials, which they were kind of best known for, instead choosing to focus on what I guess like lifestyle articles and stuff. Probably not the best move for a company whose whole thing was naked ladies. But anyway, now it seems like they are.
Is that even true? She knows a lot more about this than I do, so cool. But
on just accelerating that downward spiral because they have recently chosen to feature a gay man as their newest Playboy playmate. Yeah, the guru Bretman Rock was featured on their digital cover for October, and let's just say the reaction was probably not what Playboy was hoping for. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, but first I want to say a big thank you to today's sponsor, Keto with Lauren. According to the CDC, around 49% of Americans are obese, which is shocking. That's pretty much half of the people out there. Only is this a great way to jumpstart. But you also get to support these on its official social media accounts, posted these videos and this photo of influencer Bretman Rock in a kind of
so
Playboy
gross.
bunny lingerie
Okay, I
piece.
think I might get TOS.
That's a lot to take in, and in a following post, they also included a quote from Bretman. He said, "For Playboy to have a male on the cover is a huge deal for the LGBT community, for my brown people community, and it's all so surreal. A total is this even effing happening right?"
Okay. I'm going to just say this before she can, so it doesn't look like I'm going to agree with her here, but this is a little cringy to be like, this is a big step for my brown people community. This is absolutely a step for the LGBT community. I think that that's fair. And keep in mind that Playboy doesn't only have to appeal to straight men that want to look at nude women, which you're against, but in this case, you're against more of it being gay. Either way, they don't have to do that. Like, they also can appeal to the demographic of LGBT individuals also, which, like it or not, amount to quite a large sum of the market. So I don't know what this, like, the brown people part of it is a little dorky sounding, sure. But generally speaking, this is not like anything to be mad about.
Right now type of vibe, and I'm so pretty. So first thing I want to say here is that Andy No pointed this out online, but for decades, Playboy has featured non-white models.
Andy No. Well, we know we're getting the most accurate information
on their covers. It's pretty inclusive as far as ethnicities go, so I don't even know what he's trying to say with the whole my brown people thing. It's like, no, Bretman, you are not the first brown people to be featured by Playboy. And going through the replies to these Playboy posts, I don't think it's shocking to anybody that a lot of the replies, especially from men, were pretty negative. And in fact, the only real positive replies saying, yes, Bretman, slay queen, that I could see looked like they were coming from, frankly, straight females who probably are fans of Bretman because they follow him on social media or watch his YouTube channel or whatever it may be. And it's like, that's nice and everything that they're supporting someone that they like, but the fact of the matter is that these people are not Playboy's consumer base like at all, and Playboy should have recognized that. And I get that.
So this is a major contradiction in her argument right off the bat, which is Playboy's falling down the drain, and now they're doing the gay thing, LOL, downfall, woke, bad, you know, the normal bullshit, right? LGBT customers are among the most loyal. They award companies who have got their back, even if it means spending more on their shopping basket. If you consider that in the US alone, the spending power of the LGBT community is calculated in the region of $800 billion a year. They're sinking, LOL. Now they're trying to appeal to a new consumer base. Like I said, why? Like you just said, it's the type of magazine that boys will hide under their bed. What about gay boys? Maybe they want to see a guy in a bunny ear lingerie. I don't know. It's not my thing. I don't like it. I think it's kind of, you know me, I'm accused of being Ben Shapiro-esque when it comes to like the sex and nudity shit, which I'm just not a fan of at all. But like, it just seems like such a weird thing of all, like to get mad at. Like, porn is degenerate in your mind, right? So like, doesn't it only follow that like there would also be more quote unquote degeneracy? Like,
it's trendy and in for brands to be inclusive and woke and LGBT friendly and all that stuff. But the thing is, Playboy, like, it's porn. It caters specifically to straight males, and that's not the type of thing that you can just change and say, hey, you know what? Instead of a naked girl, here's a half naked man. Just as good, right? Like, no.
Right, because that's what they're trying to do. They're saying, hey, boys, now you have to look at the man only. Like, you know, people watch porn, right? That like has men in it also, like fucking the girl. Like, if they have to like scroll past a guy on the cover to get to the nude woman, what do you mean? They're not replacing the woman with the man. What? This is like just looking for a reason to get offended.
No, it's not just as good for the people who are interested in looking at the ladies, which, you know what, I'm not even trying to condone or promote on here. I am not a fan of Playboy, like, even traditional. God, what is the world coming to about, you know, like regular Playboy? But I mean, it's just totally lost the plot with this. And there was this really funny.
So again, business sinking, they do a move that helps the business, and now they've lost the plot because she doesn't like gay people. It's just like things can appeal to both, you know. There can be like magazines that like are like, hey, here's some like dude that's like ripped and can appeal to like a gay crowd, and then here's a woman in a tight little bikini that can appeal to the straight guys. Like, what? When is it? Again, how is it? Why is it always a zero-sum game to these people? I don't know if they unironically believe it's a zero-sum game or if they actually have to make it sound as if it's a zero-sum game in order to actually like construct their argument.
Posts I saw kind of giving crap to the people who weren't happy about Bretman being featured that I wanted to share with you all because I think it is so naive and frankly tone deaf. This person says, homophobes in these comments need to examine their walk with God. The world is evolving, homophobes. Don't be scared. It doesn't affect you. Instead of spewing scary talk, just keep scrolling. Bretman is a kind person, something you all need to be. I don't think anybody is doubting
True. Base tweet from random person here. Yeah, if you're super riled up about just them having like a gay person on there, like, yeah, that seems kind of homophobic. Like, isn't it even by like the most stringent and reductionist definition, wouldn't that be homophobic? Like, you are literally scared of a gay guy on the cover. Yes.
Bretman is a kind person, something you all need to be. I don't think anybody is doubting that Bretman is or is not like a nice person. I'm sure he's fine. I think the question is, do these straight men want to see Bretman in lingerie? Which the answer seems to be a resounding no. Also,
no. So then you would scroll past that part. What about gay guys that maybe want to like scroll through magazines and they see like the women in bikinis on all the front covers and they want to scroll to like the backwards, the dudes with the abs or whatever?
Regarding her comment about people not liking this cover, needing to check their walk with God, it's like, all right, well, we're talking about Playboy, so I think God has checked out of this conversation just a long time ago. And the idea that it makes straight men...
Comedy's not for you, Lauren. I would leave that one off. I would leave that out.
And homophobic to not want to look at a man in lingerie. It's just, no, that's not what homophobic means. By that definition...
No one says it was homophobic to not want to... It's that if you're like enraged and furious and super mad about it, then yeah, that would be pretty silly. That would be like, doesn't that sound like you're kind of just afraid of the fact that it's got a gay guy on it? Who cares?
Everyone who is not also a gay male is homophobic, which is outrageous and not how sexuality works. It is totally okay for men, straight men, to have a preference of wanting to see women.
How did she get here from just like, wait, how did she go from, hey, here's a gay guy on the front cover, LOL, maybe we'll appeal to an $800 billion a year industry to try to help our, what Lauren Chen has said herself, a failing brand or whatever, something that hasn't been faring very well. So what do you, she's gone from this to, I don't think straight men want to be forced against their will, to have their hands nailed to a cross and their eyelids stapled open, forced to look against their fucking will at a man in lingerie with a fucking throbbing boner. Like you can, yes, if you're not into that, first of all, if you're into Playboy in general, then like you're probably down with like nudity and risque shit to begin with. So if you open your magazine, you're like, oh, there's a dude in there who's gay. I'm not really into that. Whatever. Next page.
Instead of men. And I feel like people at Playboy should have known this was coming. And so why they chose to do this anyway, probably full well knowing that it would hurt their bottom line in favor of woke points. It's so strange. And actually, as someone else pointed out in the thread, did you—
Woke points? No. It's called capitalism, Lauren. The thing you pretend to care about.
forget you made Playgirl, you know, the magazine with men in it that mainly gay men bought? So apparently a while ago, it's not made anymore, but Playboy used to have a magazine called Playgirl, which they were originally intending to be directed toward women and it featuring naked men. But apparently women weren't really as interested in that. And it was mainly gay men who were buying the magazine, which like makes sense. I'm not saying that no women.
So they saw from this thing most likely that, hey, there's actually a market here to reach out to gay men. That's what they're reaching out for, Lauren. You figured it out. Congratulations. This defeats your point, Lauren. They've realized right there that they have the profit incentive to try and pursue the LGBT market more.
But if you think of like the type of porn women want, I mean, there's a reason why 50 Shades of Grey is so popular, is because, I mean, it's not even visual, but it has a story and characters and like all this romance stuff behind it. It's like, that's what appeals to women.
Thank you for the Prime subscription. Appreciate it.
Not just naked men, by and large. And the reason why I bring that up is because human sexuality and human nature does not care about what your corporate agenda is. You can try to make a magazine for women, objectifying men, just like Playboy, but that doesn't mean it's going to be as successful as Playboy because women don't want that. You can try to put—
We're not trying to, again, like, what do you mean? They're just trying to broaden their market appeal. That's it. This is the common business move. This is common for all businesses. They're embracing the LGBT shit. Again, I keep going back to because they have a massive market incentive to do so. That's all this is. It's not complicated. Nothing.
Gay men on the cover of Playboy, but that doesn't mean that Playboy readers, i.e. straight men, are going to want that. When I was in college and I took some like super basic level marketing classes, they used to tell us that, you know, your goal as a business should be giving the customer what they want. But it seems like in 2021, that message has changed to, as a business, you need to try to reach—
Wait, no. By your own volition, by what you just said, they realized that part of what the customers wanted was naked dudes, gay men. They realized they had a market there. Men primarily are their target base. Well, they might as well appeal to gay men as well. Yes. How is this so challenging for her to understand?
Shape what the customer wants in order to fit your worldview, which just sounds like a way worse way to make money. But anyway, in case you thought—
Funny how that's not at all what's happening. You're not trying to reshape the straight men.
That this whole Bretman Rock cover was just a one-off for Playboy, you'd be wrong. It turns out they are simultaneously trying to sell those like little Playboy bunny outfits on their website, and instead of using a female model, which I guess you would assume would be the main demographic, like buying these little outfits, for some reason Playboy instead chose to feature a male model for these little lingerie sets. Oh, and actually, according to the Post Millennial, it's not just a male model. We can put some photos up here. Sorry, I hate to do that to you, but it's important that you see. But it's also a BLM activist, because that's what's sexy, I guess. Maybe you guys—
Does literally a single human being care outside of someone who's incentivized to get mad about this? Does a single human actually give a fuck that the website showed a dude who's a BLM activist in... Yes, it turns out that there's a large market incentive to appeal to progressive values, Lauren. Congratulations.
So a BLM activist, because that's what's sexy, I guess. Maybe you guys will say that I'm just looking into things too much, but this whole thing to me really does just scream subversion. They really are not happy to let straight men just be straight men, to the point where they are now going into spaces and publications specifically dedicated to straight men, and then like
the problem is when I hear something that is so fucking stupid like this, it's hard for me not to react with like a bombastic, enraged response almost, because it's like, you think this is subversion? Stopping straight men from being straight men? What a fucking snowflake. Holy shit, dude. The most triggered generation. I'm worried about our future.
Gayness. And it's kind of ironic, or should I say hypocritical, because usually the progressive left hates on the idea of male gaze and objectification. But it seems like that's only really the case when the bodies being objectified are those of young, attractive women. Because it seems like, you know, if there's a body positive activist, or if there's like some cross-dressing, non-binary trans person, then they are more than happy to be like, oh yeah, objectify, all up in that. Kind of seems like they're...
Wait, what? So there's like a difference between being in favor of like having the freedom to engage in a kind of a job that you consent to being objectified. So like most likely if a woman is posing naked in a Playboy magazine, odds are she is aware that she's going to be objectified. It's not about stopping objectification in all forms. It's about making sure that the objectification is consensual and occurs in proper contexts. Sex sells, objectification sells, and I'm not a fan of it again, but that's just the reality of it.
And even though I'm sure there are a lot of woke activists on Twitter, specifically women, who are going to be cheering this on, I just cannot imagine that this would actually be good for Playboy's bottom line. But hey, if you disagree,
well, okay.
Feel free to let me know. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please...
I guess just you heard it, straights. You're no longer allowed to be straight because, in fact, a Playboy magazine had a guy on it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you get notified when I drop a new video.